In the National School Lunch Program, for grades K through 5, the average daily amount of calories at lunch for a 5-day week must be within the range of at least 550 as a minimum and 650 as the maximum amount. The meal pattern for grades K through 5 requires 2.5 cups of fruit per week, with a minimum of 1/2 cup per day. For vegetables for K through 5 at lunch, the serving requirement is a minimum of 3 3/4 cups per week, with a daily requirement of at least 3/4 of a cup. The weekly amounts must be offered from a variety of vegetable subgroups, which includes a 1/2 cup of dark green vegetables, 3/4 of a cup of red or orange vegetables, a 1/2 cup of legumes such as dried beans or peas, a 1/2 cup of starchy vegetable, a 1/2 cup of other vegetables. 1 cup of additional vegetable from any subgroup must be added to reach a total for the week. For grains, at least 8 equivalent ounces are required per week for student lunches in grades K through 5, and at least 1 ounce equivalent must be offered daily. At least half the grains at lunch must be whole grain rich for school year 2013-14, and in the school years 2014-15 and beyond, all grains must be whole grain rich for all grade levels at lunch. For the meats or meat alternate components of lunches for grades K through 5, the requirement is an 8 ounce per week or a minimum of 1 ounce equivalent per day. For fluid milk, the K through 5 meal pattern for lunch requires 5 cups per week, which is a daily minimum of 1 cup. All fluid milk must be 1% milk fat or less. If flavored milk is used, it must be fat-free. For saturated fat for grades K through 5, less than 10% of the total calories are allowed at lunch for a 5-day week. Discretionary sources of calories, such as fats and added sugars, may be added in moderation if it is within the specifications for calories, saturated fat, trans fat, and sodium. Work to reduce sodium in menu items, as the proposed sodium targets will be phased in gradually over the next several years, beginning in 2014-15. As for trans fat, nutrition labels or manufacturer specifications must indicate 0 grams of trans fat per serving for all grade levels. And now, let's review what you've learned.